This is the 2016 G-Tech K9 vacuum cleaner. It's battery operated. It's a great machine, but you do have to clean it properly every month, and it's a bit of a rigmarole, so I thought I'd make this video to show you how to do just that. Okay, so first thing you want to do is to take this compartment out, which has the dirt collected in it normally, but it's been cleaned out, so I've already done that. And this section here, that needs a bit of a clean, needs a bit of a wash out. And normally you'd need to empty the contents of this into the dustbin, but I've already done that, but it does need a bit of a clean. This section here has got the filters in it, and you can see there's a slot there, and so we need a 2p piece to undo that. So I'll go and get one of those. Right, so just turn it, and it will just pop out, and you can see the filters are there. They're a bit of a pain, these filters, because they're supposed to sort of slot into these sections. If they don't really, you just have to kind of cram them in, push the whole thing together, and turn the screw thing with a coin in, and really hold tight to make sure it goes together. It's not an ideal thing. So these, as you can see, have got quite a lot of dust and dirt on them. So we need to shake this dust and dirt off into a bin, and then we're going to wash these filters. Okay, so these are the filters we're going to clean, and you just literally run it under the tap. It doesn't matter whether it's hot or cold, just something that's comfortable for your fingers. Just run it through, a little bit more pressure in that. This is a mucky old job. I put newspaper down underneath the cleaner. Obviously this is our kitchen sink, so it's not ideal, but make sure you clean it afterwards. Give it a good squeeze once the dirt stops coming out. Obviously it depends how often you do this. I recommend once a month. So once you're squeezing and there's no more dirt coming out, then you know you're pretty much good to go, if that's okay. Don't forget to shake the dust and the dirt off before you do this, otherwise you're creating unnecessary work. You need to do both sides, squeezing as you go, make sure you get all this muck off. This will mean that your vacuum cleaner will give you many years of service. If you don't do this regularly, the thing is just going to seize up, and then you're going to end up probably with an expensive repair. It's a bit hot there, put a bit more cold in that. Squeezing all the time, and yeah, there's quite a lot of dirt in this. Okay, so they're both clean now, and what I normally do is give them a really good squeeze, make sure there's as much water squeezed out as possible, and then I put them on a radiator to dry. So what I tend to do is I leave them this way up for a few hours, and then I turn them over. Whatever you do, don't put them back on until they're completely dry, otherwise you are going to mess up your cleaner. While you've got the sink free, it's not a bad idea to wash these parts out as well. These get pretty mucky. Quite a lot of dust and stuff stuck to these things, and especially on this part here. That will clean up. And again, once I've done this, I put it on the radiator to dry once I've shaken it. And this part here, it's got a lot of dust in it. I'm going to shake that out into the bin first. So it looks a bit better now, just needs a bit of a wash. Under the tap, get the worst off. Looks a bit better. Probably be a bit more thorough than this, but I'm just doing this quickly for the sake of the video. And we'll put these two components on the radiator to dry. I mean, if it's summer, of course you can dry them off outside, but it's coming up to Christmas here in the United Kingdom, so it's pretty cold, not warm enough to dry these things outside. So we're going to put these over on the radiator as well. This also needs a clean up. So same thing, we'll shake it in the bin first, and then we'll run it under the tap. You need to set aside about 40 minutes to do this, so once a month it's 40 minutes of your life gone, but you will have a cleaner that works really well. So shake that, put that on the radiator to dry. Normally, these plastic components take about half an hour, but obviously the filters take a bit longer, depending how hot your radiator is, but it could take, a couple of hours or so. Right, so that's all drying, and the vast majority of people will do that, put it back together again with the filters, and that'll be it. But that's not enough, sadly, so I'm going to show you the next stage of this procedure. By the way, don't forget to clean the sink after you've done this, otherwise you'll have your partner after you. Okay, now if you look at the vacuum cleaner, you can see it's still pretty mucky inside, and you've got this roller with the brushes here, and there's no way of cleaning this unless you actually take it apart. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. The way to do this is to tip the hoover over up the other way, so it's like this, leaning on the floor and resting on the edge of the counter. Make sure it's not going to slip off. And you can see I've got a couple of screwdrivers here, a flat head screwdriver and a posi Phillips, if you like, screwdriver, and that's the one you're going to need the most. You can see here 2 screws either side, so it's 4 screws to undo, and make sure you keep them safe. Don't do this outside on the decking where the screws could disappear through the gaps in the decking. Do it somewhere where the screws are going to be safe, because if you lose them you're sunk. So we're going to undo them. Now you'll find that 2 of them are short screws and 2 are long, so they'll only go back in the same holes, of course. You can actually see, can't you, all the muck in here. Yes, you can get a pair of scissors and cut it out, but it's not enough. The problem is that in this gap here and here, and at the edges, you get hair, all kinds of horrible stuff caught, and it's a nightmare to get out unless you take this apart. It doesn't take that long, but you just need to give yourself a few minutes to do it. So let's undo those 4 screws, shall we? That's the short screw, came out of there. I'm going to put it up there to keep it safe. See, much longer. Keep that safe. So these end plates are now loose, but obviously they don't just sort of fall off. You have to prise them out, and that's where the flat headed screwdriver is going to come in handy. So just prise it off like that, and then it falls off. Keep it to one side, keep it safe obviously. Sometimes get a bit of dirt in there, it's worth cleaning that out. So we'll do the other side now, and eventually it's come off with the end of the roller attached. That's not a problem, just pull it out, that's fine. I'll put this back for the moment. So what you're left with now is the cleaner with the roller brush in it, but no end plates. Now these will just pull out now, these, and they're in 2 halves. You can see there's this metal plate in the middle, and this roller goes into that metal plate. So pull it out, that one. So there are our 2 halves of our roller brush, and inside here it is quite mucky. It's worth getting a brush and cleaning that out inside. So this, as you can see, has got hair in this groove here, and at the end, and at the end, and all along it. And it's a really simple matter now of just getting a knife or screwdriver and getting that hair out. This one, you can see the hair on there. If you don't take this apart, it's virtually impossible to get all this muck off. What I normally use is a clean paintbrush for getting the muck out of here, and for getting the muck off these end plates. It's easy to do it with a brush. This is the newspaper I've got down here, very good idea. And now we're going to clean these 2 brushes up. By the way, these ends will come off. Take a bit of encouragement and make sure you know which end goes into which part of the brush. So that's out, and we'll take the end off the other. Takes a little bit of encouragement. Sometimes you need the screwdriver to help you. Like this. Just look at all that hair, isn't it? It's great to get all that out, isn't it? So there we are. So you've got 2 end caps there, and the brush itself. I'm just going to get all that hair out and probably pull this out without using a knife, but sometimes you need a knife. think that's all going to come out. It's actually not that long since I cleaned this. I'm actually giving this cleaner to my daughter, and so I'm killing two birds with one stone here. I'm getting it clean for her, and I'm making this video so she can see how to look after it, and it may be useful to you as well, this video. So that's that one brush clean. This is the dirty one. Let's see if we can prise that end off, shall we? So it's flat bladed, and then off it comes. Again, loads of hair there, just pull that off. Okay, same the other end. Prise that off. A little bit of encouragement, but it does come off. Again, loads of hair, pull that off. It's quite a nice feeling when you get it all apart and you get it all cleaned up. This could be the most boring video in the entire world. I do appreciate that. This is fairly tragic, I know, but so pull the hair off that. Get as much off as you can. Now you've got two nice clean brushes, and you have to put it all back now. Alright, so make sure you put the right ends in. You'll see this one has got a kind of a rod on the end, and this one doesn't have that. It just pushes in. I think that one goes in there. I think that one goes in there. This end here, with that kind of oval shaped hole, goes towards the metal end. You can see, if you look, there's a metal, there's kind of a male counterpart to that female part. So this is going to go onto that. So we'll put that back first. Right, so just slot it in there. Find the end, push it in. Obviously it's not going to be secure until you get that metal end plate on. Same the other side. Put the ends back in. Make sure they're in, probably push them right home. Okay. This end. Okay. So this oval, so you can see the matching on the other side, and this is going to go onto it. You just have to turn it around till you find it. Okay, it's in. So all we've got to do now is put the end plates back on. Now if you look at this end plate, it's got a kind of a tab on the bottom. That tab fits in here. So this tab here is going to go in the slot at the bottom. So make sure this little metal pin goes inside that hole there when you put the plate back on. Okay? Otherwise the brush won't roll around freely. It's a little bit fiddly. Just have to, you know, work it until it goes back in. Right, so that's back on. Obviously don't forget to put the screws back in, and we'll do the same the other side, and that will be done. Right, so that's all back together again. Make sure these screws are nipped up. Don't have to go too crazy, but make sure they're tight, and just give the roller a bit of a tweak. Make sure it's going around. Obviously it won't go around fast until it's under power. And you've now cleaned your G-Tech and it's all ready to go, apart from the fact you haven't got any filters in. I've got a couple of spare ones. I don't have to wait for those others to dry, and I'll show you how we do this bit. And this is a little bit fiddly, this, so bear with me. Okay, so you've got your nice dry filters, and you've got to put them back into this assembly and then put the whole thing back in the vacuum cleaner, which sounds really easy, but it is a bit fiddly. You'll notice on this part it says, I don't know if you can see this, do not fit filter to this part. So that's a bit of a clue there. Yeah, so the filters go in these two sections here, and you would think, looking at these kind of groove arrangement underneath the filter, that it would just sort of slot nicely in, but unfortunately what happens is these filters, can you see, they kind of go a little bit concave after a few weeks use, so you basically just have to put them in here as best you can, push them in. You'll notice here you've got these little compartments. You can buy fragrant scented little tabs to go in there if you want your Hoover to smell nice, but to be honest I wouldn't bother. They don't actually last very long and they're fairly expensive, so I actually wouldn't worry about that. It doesn't make any difference to the running operation. I think it just smells a bit sweeter, but I think they're $9.99 for about about 10 of them, I'm not quite sure, but if you want to get them, of course you can. So just basically push these in. You won't get them to go over the grooves, it's impossible. Now you'll see this hole here in the middle, and that corresponds to this. Now basically, if you can see this kind of back part here, this is how the top goes on. So as you look at the wording, the G-Tech's in the front, K9's over on the right, and it's going to go over there on top like that. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to need our 2p piece again now. Here's where you need a bit of brute force and ignorance. It's you know, not ideal this in any way. At the back, make sure it goes over these two kind of grey lugs here, okay? And you really have to squeeze hard at this point to get it all to go in. By the way, make sure that the filter's going this way up. So the grey, the dark charcoal colour, black colour goes underneath so you can't see it. This is very, very awkward, this bit. It's the worst bit of this machine. You might try putting one end in, but to be honest, they do sort of pop out. It's pretty hard. So as I say, it's a matter of squeezing them in as hard as they'll go. So, like I say, this way round, and squeeze down as hard as you can. Really squeeze hard. You can see that. Squeeze as hard as you can, push down as hard as you can, and then turn the coin, turn the screw of the coin till it's in the locked position. You know, there it is. It's not ideal, it's not perfect. You might have to have a few attempts at this. As you can see, it's kind of hanging out the end there, but it is together. So what I always do now is put it back in this part before it falls apart. Once it's in, it's fine. Now you'll notice with this, it's got two holes that face front. Okay, so the G-Tech logo, you can see that, goes there. So you just put that in. Now, it just clips in. When you go to take this apart to empty it, just do it a bit carefully because there is a slight chance of those filters coming off when you do it. Once you've got that all together, remember those two holes at the front, they face the front of the machine, so you literally slot it in and that's good to go. And that is how you clean your G-Tech K9 vacuum cleaner from 2016. It has been superseded now, and I've got the newer one, which is a lot easier to clean. But having said that, this is an amazing machine. Being a K9, it's brilliant if you've got pets, got pet hair. While we're on the subject of cleaning G-Tech things, this is the dust collector from the little handheld G-Tech machine. And basically what you want to do every now and again is to take the filter out of the top here, which we'll do, and again give that a really good wash. If it's covered in dust, then obviously get that off first before you start wetting it. This one's fairly clean. You basically just run it under the tap. I'll try and do it for you. So run it under the tap, keep squeezing it till all the dirt comes out, and once you're happy that there's no more dirt coming out, you can see the water's clean as it comes off it. Now this bit's really important, right? Make sure you squeeze it out really, really hard. Get as much water out as you can. Again, put it on the radiator, but this time you might even need to leave it, dare I say it, a couple of days, because it really takes a lot of drying out. And if you put this back in, as I did once, and it's wet down there, it will make a horrendous mess all around your house. As soon as it starts up, it will spray mucky liquid around your house. I made that mistake once. So make sure when you're drying it that you put your finger down here to check that it is absolutely bone dry. If that feels wet in any way, it's not ready. So you need a nice hot radiator. Like I say, it's probably not a bad idea to just keep squeezing it. I can't really squeeze it very well one-handed and film. But put this on the radiator, leave it for a good day and a half before you put it back in. And again, that's good maintenance for your G-Tech. Goes in this machine here, of course. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Normally I put up music videos and me playing instruments, but you can call this a public information video if you like. Thanks for watching.